The Rico Tapes.
Good afternoon, Walter. What's up with you today?
Just out here taking in some of this fresh Dublin air. I'm on my way out. I got this interview this afternoon for maybe I'm going to do a bartending gig at that little cellar place down the street there. They're looking for a part-time bartender. I don't know if I'll get it or not, but that's what I got in my mind right now.
Oh, I know where that place is. I've been staying with a friend of mine. Her name is Molly Adele, and she has a little farm back there right down the street from there off of Church Street.
Church Street? Did there used to be a church there?
I think there's still quite a few churches on that street. But she has a beautiful farm, and they have a farmer's market on the weekend. They sell meats and produce. Her husband.
I mean, we're almost downtown. Imagine a farm being this close to all this stuff.
I know, right? It's amazing how Dublin is. I met Molly at the Times Building in New York City, and she told me if I was ever in Ireland, look her up. So I guess I'm going to stay here with them for a few months and just take in the scenery.
Well, Sharon, while you're here, let's talk. The main thing that we need to get to before you get back to New York is Section 9A. I know we're going to have a few more sessions, but when we're talking about that National Labor Relations Act and U.S. law and labor unions, we've talked about, Section 1, the findings and policies. Talked about Section 2, the definitions. We've talked about Section 3, the National Labor Relations Board. I know I would like to revisit that someday before you go back, but we also say Section 4, 5, and 6 also has to do with the National Labor Relations Board. And I think the first day you were here, when you first ran into me, we talked about Section 7.
Oh, that's right. Section 7 gives the employees the right to join a union.
That's right, Sharon. That's what Section 7 does. And it gives the employees the right to join a union and to select representatives of their own choosing. But then we have Section 8 in the National Labor Relations Act, and that is all about unfair labor practices. But then we want to jump over to Section 9 today, and I think we got to get a sentence in or two about Section 9. And Section 7 talks about choosing. You have the right to choose representatives, but Section 9 kind of reinforces it, and this might be the basic heartthrob of the whole act, as much as Section 7 is. See, it's so difficult to talk about this act unless you get a little background information on it, because there's so many things to know by the time you get to Section 9. But basically what Section 9 says, representatives designated or selected for the purposes of collective bargaining. So.
Yes, Walter, and Section 7 says it gives you the right to choose your representative.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Sharon. Section 7 gives you the right to choose it, and Section 9 says the representatives that you do choose for the purpose of collective bargaining by the majority of the employees in a unit, which means 50% plus 1. So if you have a unit and 50% plus 1 choose representatives, the law, the National Labor Relations Board, recognizes the representatives you choose as the exclusive representative of all the employees in the group. So if you have a group of 100 and 51 choose the representative, now that representative represents everybody in the group, all 100 of them. And that's for the purposes of collective bargaining in respect to wages, hours of employment, or other conditions of employment. And they call that in labor, they call those the mandatories. We'll talk about that some other day. But basically, if you're the exclusive representative or representatives, that is who you are. And because you're the exclusive representative, the employer does not have to recognize anybody else except the representative. but then he must recognize that representative and he must bargain with them. So put it in a nutshell, Section 7 gives you the right to organize. Section 9 says that the representatives you choose now have some legal status and the employer must bargain with them.
So, Walter, you say you have a job interview this afternoon, but I was wondering if you've been to check out the Trinity College yet or Guinness Storehouse. I've been doing a little bit of sightseeing while.
To tell you the truth, Sharon, since I've been here, I've just been doing what I can to survive. I've got around. I saw that big Guinness sign, and I'd love to tour that brewery sometime before I leave here, if I ever do. I don't have any plans in the near future, but would you say the other place was the Trinity College? That sounds like a nice place. I know there's one. I think in D.C. they have a branch. Maybe, I don't know. But I tell you what, this is a beautiful city, and there's lots of sights to see here. I definitely want to have some time sightseeing.
Also, Walter, you may want to check out St. Patrick's Cathedral. That is a beautiful church.
St. Patrick's Cathedral. I know I've been to the one in New York. Where is that in Dublin?
Well, Walter, it's right in the middle of town. It's right next to the Guinness Storehouse. It's at Route 137 and 110, and it's down the street from the Dublin Castle also.
It's like it's on the same side of the river we're on now. I think it's a big church with a green in front of it. Yeah, I've seen that, but I've never been inside of it. But yeah, I'd like to go in one. I hope the roof don't cave in. Maybe I should go there before I go down to the Guinness Brewery.
Yes, Walter, I would definitely go to the church before you go to the brewery.
I hear they have good wine there anyway.
So, Walter, Section 9A is we're going to talk about tomorrow, correct?
That's right, Sharon. We talk about 9A some more. We probably should, and I know we talked a little bit about it today, but Section 9 is a pretty long, lengthy thing, and 9A is just part of it. But 9A really is what we really need to get a good understanding of, along with Section 7 and how they work together, and with all the definitions that when they use a word like employee or employer or labor organization. And these are defined terms, so like I say, to grasp this whole thing, we're gonna eventually. I hope we make some points on this, but that's what we're trying to do. We're gonna have to skip over Section 8 for a while because, you really have to have a union and be in collective bargaining before you have unfair labor practices, which really isn't true. You can have them without a union, but mostly. Unions are they're the guys that enforce it the most. But every worker has the same rights under the Wagner Act, whether they're in a union or not.
Okay, well, good luck with your job interview, Walter, and I'll see you tomorrow.